In this training module, I'm going to show you how to draft the title of your own provisional patent application. This includes reviewing what I focus on when I draft a title, as well as reviewing a sample title for the tool storage system we've looked at previously. By the end of this module, which should be very short, you should be able to finish drafting the title of your own patent specification. Let's get started. So if we look at the title section of the provisional patent application template that I've provided to you, it explains that the title is actually optional. You don't need a title. However, I would always include this. It just is a simple thing to do, and it puts everybody in the right mindset, points them in the right direction as to what your invention is about, and won't draw any confusion later on. If you've done it right, you can just simply copy this over at the time you create a non-provisional patent application and not have to worry about it again later. There are some rules for non-provisional patent application titles, and we'll stick to those for the provisional patent application also, just so we have some consistency. There's only really one rule, and that rule is that there should be less than 500 characters in your title. I've tried to stick by a rule where I have about 5 to 8 words in my title and no more. You really just want to point somebody in the right direction as to the overall type of technology you have and the specific area where you're inventing. So we can look first at the example in the template itself, a power management unit for a computer processor. That doesn't tell me a whole lot. I might, in some cases, have a very picky examiner in the future that says I need to put in more information about what the invention is. It's not actually a legal requirement. It's not a rule or a law that requires that, but patent examiners sometimes have a little bit of leeway, and so it leaves some room where I can make a little bit of adjustment here and not have any problems with the patent examiner. It's also worth noting that the title technically and legally should not have any impact on the scope of your invention. However, every time you make amendments in the future to your patent application, there's a potential that some aggressive litigator will try to say that that improvement has some type of meaning in the limitation or the constraints on how broadly your patent should be interpreted. We don't want to necessarily make amendments unnecessarily. Ultimately, you shouldn't have to worry too much about how the title might impact the scope and breadth of your claims in your patent application. So let's look at the very simple title that I put together for the tool storage system. It's simply a hinged storage stand for yard tools. You'll notice here I didn't use the same tool storage system language that I've put in other places. When I looked at what I'm actually inventing, I think the fact that it's hinged is important. I think that the fact that it's a stand is important. And I might be going a little bit specific here because it's for yard tools, where it could be perhaps for other types of implements or tools or elongated devices. But I don't think that it's going to create much problem for me here at this stage. And really, in fact, my invention, the way that I intend it, is for yard tools. So I feel pretty comfortable knowing that I don't have to be held to yard tools only in this implementation. For your title, just put down a couple simple words. You might even copy the title that you put on your innovation disclosure form if you put one there. Just put down a few words that give an indication of what your invention is about and what technical field it's in, and you should be good from there. Do it at whatever length you're comfortable with at this point. I don't want you to necessarily feel like you have to count words or count characters, so don't worry about that. Just put something you're comfortable with, and we can move on from there. And that's it. You should now be able to finalize your title for your own patent application. And so go ahead and do that now before moving on to the next module.